Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Rose.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
This is our preview for Dexter Resurrection Season 1, Episode 10. This is the finale, and we're sad, guys. It's like, how are we at the end of this almost already?
Yeah, I mean, especially after this last episode, losing Angel. I mean, it's just everything is so intense right now, and there's only one episode left. There's still so many balls in the air with what's going to happen to Leon. There's this huge gala. What's going to happen with Angel now that he's gone? How is Dexter going to get out of this room and get out of this situation and hopefully kill off Leon? What's going to happen with Charlie? Is Harrison going to forgive him for all of this? There are so many things to answer, and who knows how many of them will actually be answered. I mean, season 2.
Okay, if you guys have been around the channel for a while, you know that something I obsess about, sometimes too much, is episode titles. I love talking about titles, and it turns out the title for this week's episode, Touched by an Angel, was pretty deliberate when it comes to what it was meaning.
Oh, break my heart, man.
Okay, the title for this finale is And Justice for All. And obviously, that's an iconic phrase, but it also does make me wonder, okay, whose justice are we talking about here? Is it justice for Angel? Because if it's justice for all, then you're also talking about justice for Maria,
right?
Dokes,
Yep.
Deb.
Yep.
Is Dexter turning himself in? Okay, I don't think that's going to happen. I want to make it clear, but that title makes me wonder.
It does make me wonder, absolutely. But I mean, part of the code, don't get caught. So I don't think he will. But I do wonder if this is going to be about the New York Ripper. We were speaking a little bit about this in our review. The idea that whoever Leon was saying, oh, we need to make sure that there's a ramp here at this gala. There are people that are going to be using wheelchairs here. That person that he's making sure has a ramp here is the New York Ripper, and that person is someone who is very high up in the police force, and that will be something about them, that they will give a big speech and they will be like, and justice for all, but they are the Ripper.
There's going to be some kind of incredible needle drop on the music the moment they say that line. If that is what is happening,
that's what's happening.
It's going to be pretty lit. Okay, now we have so much to talk about in this preview, including 100% why we need to have that gala scene in this finale. And it's for a multitude of different reasons. But before we do, be sure to hit that subscribe button because we are here with so many Dexter videos a week. Even though this show is ending soon, there's obviously going to be so much more of the Dexter-verse, even if you people got rid of Original Sin. We're still mad about that, but we've got Resurrection reviews, previews, theories. We also have so much other great TV on the way, including Only Murders in the Building, which we do multiple videos of a week. It is so much fun if you guys haven't watched it. I mean, how could you not love a whodunit with Steve Martin and Martin Short? Beyond that, though, Welcome to Derry is coming later this fall. If you want some scares, some thrills, it is right up your alley.
And don't forget Fallout. It's been announced for season 2. It's coming up in December. We will be here for that. So hit that subscribe button. It really helps us here at the channel. And we really appreciate everyone who has. Thank you so much for helping our channel grow this season. It's been really wonderful. And if you do want to talk to us further about Dexter, you can head over to our Patreon. I have a link for you below. Over there, we're having more discussions, polls, all kinds of fun stuff.
Thank you guys for your support. That does mean the world to us.
Really.
Let's start, though, with that gala sequence, because you already set that up. And I think here's the biggest reason to me why this is so important, is that Resurrection so far this season, it has been sort of a collection of disparate worlds in a way, where we've had the Leon Prater world, we've had the Claudette world, we've had the Dexter world, and really, with a few little exceptions, like that scene you talked about with Prater discussing the ramp, we haven't really seen them collide that much. This is a real opportunity to get almost every major character on this show, with the exception of people like Blessing and his family, but, Claudette, her partner, Leon, given what Harrison is trying to do, is he going to try to find a way to be at the gala? It's all of these characters presumably could be descending into this one singular place.
Yeah, I mean, we know that Harrison was offered to go work at this gala, and as soon as he heard it was Prater, he's like, no thanks. But that doesn't mean that there won't be another situation where Dexter's like, listen, I need your help. All this stuff has happened with Angel. I'm trying to get to Prater. I need to get to this gala, but I need you to be my eyes. Are you willing to help me on this? And Harrison may be really conflicted to be like, man, like you told me we could keep these separate. Why are you putting me in this spot? Man, I really need you. Okay, I'll do it, but I'm not happy about it. And that it would have everybody there. And I really am hoping, really hoping that the person that is the New York Ripper does work for the police force in some sort of way, shape, or form, because it could set up really well for next season. This idea that Dexter's going to be kind of facing off a Dexter, somebody else who was working in police enforcement and was able to kind of use that to cover up their crimes and be able to continue killing the way that they are. But because they have the job that they have, they can kind of make some of that disappear. And now that Dexter's not in law enforcement, but this person still might be, or at the very least, still have enough law enforcement around them to continue to do what they're doing, because most of Miami Metro is dead. All that's left is Quinn and Masuka. Like, there's nobody left. It's so crazy that it's going to make things a lot harder for Dexter to actually get to this person.
Yeah, and I think this is where, and since you brought up Harrison, this is where Harrison could come into play with some of this, because we don't know if there's going to be a big time jump or not entering the next season. Like, you could argue that Harrison's going to be, you know, even if it's just like a street level officer, like somebody who's still very new, a rookie, like he might be there in training. Like, there's new ways to sort of fold him in. But I think where all of this gets complicated, and this is one of the biggest questions that I have entering the finale, is that Harrison this season accepted Dexter's way of life, but I think he did it rather conditionally, in a way where he didn't want to shoulder the responsibility of having killed his father anymore. And I think this is much easier than that. But I think it's one thing to accept that Dexter takes out people who are bad, but Batista, if or when Harrison finds out everything with the guarding Angel, and it's not like Angel's his best friend, but this is an innocent person. This is somebody who didn't do anything wrong. And yeah, like Harrison was around or alive when stuff happened with La Guerta, but didn't really know anything. Like, he was super, super young. This is Harrison as an adult coming to terms with this idea that it's like, okay, there is no, you know, Dexter takes out the bad people and no other people get harmed. This is a lot more complicated than that.
Yeah, and he already feels this way about his mom. Like, you know, the fact that Dexter was entertaining Trinity at all and brought Trinity anywhere near his life is why Rita ended up dead. And you have Harrison in this spot where he didn't have his mom, and he definitely is going to feel a certain way about it with Angel as well, where it's like, oh, well, I didn't kill him. Okay, but you are having some responsibility because you led him to this whole situation. He knew about you. He was really trying to get to you. And now Prater, all of this has now done this to him. Everyone who's around you that is innocent ends up getting got. And like, I don't want to get got.
Yeah, and to make matters even crazier, like Dexter, he may not take responsibility for this either. Like, he totally poked the bear with Angel on multiple instances, running away from him, basically being like, if I am who you say I am, this is going to be big trouble for you.
I am the one who knocks.
Yeah, like
that whole scene, absolutely.
Yeah, like he did more things to make Batista more desperate to go after him. And the synopsis for this episode, it suggests that Dexter and Harrison find themselves in a final confrontation facing the consequences of their actions. So it's like, okay, they are going to be going toe-to-toe with something. Like, it's not for sure about Batista, but it's like, okay, this makes the most sense. And I don't think Harrison's going to try to kill him again. Like, why would this show do the same thing twice? But what is he going to do?
Yeah, I think there's one thing for the two of them to have the conversations that they've had where, you know, Dad, I'm not like you. I've done these things and I am carrying it around. I'm feeling guilt. I'm being haunted. I can't shoulder this. And Dexter's on the other side being like, okay, no problem. You know, like, I can, and I am different than you in that way. And I won't have you shoulder those things. I will keep my stuff to myself. But there is no way to do that. And while it's one thing to be like logically, okay, this can work, no problem.
Yes.
You keep that to yourself, but let me know, but don't let it affect me. And then what the reality is, which is that anytime Dexter is involved with something and people are getting too close, innocent people die all the time. Look at all of Miami Metro.
It's the cost of doing business with a guy like Dexter. And I don't think this is the part of this that Harrison has fully wrapped his head around yet. And I think this is going to set up maybe some new tension, maybe a new dynamic into a possible season 2 here. But the other part of this finale that's set up by the synopsis is really just that Charlie's allegiance to Prater is pushed to its limit, and this is going to force her to make some sort of choice. So in episode 9, we're left off with Charlie's basically taking Prater away after Prater has done what he's done when it comes to Batista. And now, Charlie's a very dangerous person, but she's also now seeing like what her boss is actually capable of. Like, what does that change for the two of them?
Yeah, and I mean, she's in such a difficult spot because he is paying to care for her mom. Her mom is not someone that she wants to lose, but now it's one thing to be like, okay, I'm bringing in these killers for Prater and I have to because otherwise my mom won't make it. Now I'm watching Prater like laughing maniacally and like shooting off this gun and, killing Batista. Now it's different. Now she's working for a killer.
Yeah, she is, and it's staring her right in the face. And this is why, I'll put on my tinfoil hat here, because this is what I really want to see happen in this particular episode, is that, you've already described everything with the Ripper and the Gala and all of that. And I obviously, since I want this scene to happen, I'm kind of sitting back and being like, okay, Dexter, Prater, and Charlie, they all have to get out of this situation somehow if the gala's going to mean anything. Because otherwise, it's just like, then none of this is going to really connect at all. So let's presume they find their way out of this. But then Charlie finds a way in secret to go and talk to Dexter and try to formulate something, because the real difficulty with taking out somebody like Prater, whether it's killing him, arresting him, whatever, we saw it in episode 9. Like, there's a lot more security around him than just Charlie. So they have to figure out a way to get him separate from a lot of these other people so that they can not only take him out or have him arrested, but do it in a way that nobody else is going to stop them.
Yeah, I mean, how does that happen at a gala filled with police officers?
Yeah.
And he's paying for everything. It's the same thing that's happening to Charlie, but it's happening on a much grander scale because he's paying for everything and he's having these huge donations to the police force all the time.
Yeah.
Dexter is going to need an inside person, and I think that person, it's going to be Charlie. She's going to be just done with it. She's going to hopefully find a way to still be able to take care of her mom, to be able to get out of this, but I think she's done with it.
Yeah, I think she's probably realizing, okay, this has been able to give my mom several more years, but she's not doing well. But I don't know if my own conscience can take this anymore, because I mean, we've seen enough from Charlie, and it's like, okay, you served in the military, you have a certain element of morality that existed there, and you've done a lot of bad things since, but we know why. At what point are we at the limit here? And who knows, like, maybe her and Dexter can figure something else out. Because I mean, one of the crazy things with this show is like how Dexter has the money to do a lot of the stuff that he's done, because it's just like, are you the best rideshare driver in New York City? Like, how are you able to afford everything?
Listen, here's the thing. We know that he took Red's money, but how much money was actually there?
Yeah.
Like, I had it on sort of a scale of money that Prater would give out to certain killers. That's like, okay, the Gemini killers, we're going to pay them more because, there's 2 of them. If you knew that, that's never actually been disclosed or not. But there was something where, he did mention it at one point where he was basically like, he pays us double. Yeah. So if that's the case, they're getting paid really well. Someone like Mia, she's been there a bunch of times over the years. He probably pays her more and more and more each year. This is the first year that Red is there.
Yeah.
I assume that it's a decent chunk of money, but it's not being left $1 million or $2 million. But, he's been given, I think, enough to survive right now.
He's given enough money so that it's worth his while to be a part of this for now, right. But he hasn't gotten enough money that he's going to be able to go off and sustain himself.
No, this is a billionaire. So this is somebody who's probably like, I'll give him $100 bottle of wine and he'll be very
Yes.
excited that it's so much money. And so that's what I think it is. I think that he's gotten paid, but he's gotten paid not as much as really he should be for what he's being brought in for.
No, it's just enough to sustain himself for now. Just like, Charlie's gotten enough to sustain her mother for now, but
Right.
like both of them could be faced in this situation where it is like, okay, we have to figure out how to deal with this situation differently. And I think the question to me then becomes, okay, let's say this is the end of Peter Dinklage, which, we talked about this in the review. Like, more than likely, I would be shocked if he's a part of next season. I think he's a one-season villain. Is he going to be on Dexter's table? Because, I didn't want Angel to die that way, but I 100% want Prater to die that way.
Absolutely. I think we're all waiting at this point for Leon to be on the table. And I mean, if you're going to be on Dexter, who doesn't want to be on the table to be like, I was one of them? So I feel like he's going to end up on the table, and they're going to have another one of these like deeper talks where it is really like, Leon, you've been like making this happen for years and years and years now, where you are paying killers to continue killing for your enjoyment. Like, he's just such a bad guy.
I feel like Clyde Phillips, Scott Reynolds, the whole team, like they had a plan here. Like, I know there's just reports coming out there right now that a writer's room for season 2 is opening up and all, but I feel like, that's tremendously exciting, but I'm also just kind of like, I feel like they've had a plan for season 2 long before a writer's room opened. So I'm just sitting here and being like, okay, Prater being on the table, the gala scene, like these are things that are like must-haves for us entering the finale. But then there's I really feel like you guys planned ahead, hence the whole Ripper discussion. So I do feel like there's going to be a pretty big cliffhanger in this finale, whether it is Ripper related or whether it is, we're going to kind of get the sense of, okay, who's going to pick up the slack here left over by Angel, depending on how Angel's death or, dad disappearance or however you want to call it for these characters, like that's handled. Like that's another part of this that could be sort of included here.
Yeah, that's a really big question of how Dexter is gonna handle Angel's death. Is anyone gonna know he's dead? Is he just gonna send cards from Europe being like, having a great time, Quinn, wish you were here? Like, I don't know what he's gonna do with this situation. Right now he's locked in a vault with a dead body.
Yeah, I just feel like there's probably, I'm going to take a guess here, that there's going to be at least one nostalgic Dexter character who turns up in this finale. And it could be Quinn. I mean, I know we've already seen Quinn, but it could be somebody like him. It could be somebody from New Blood. It just is going to be somebody who just hits us a little bit with that nostalgia, because I feel like that's what this franchise and Resurrection in particular has done a great job at. Like they've combined a lot of the old with the new, and I think we're going to need a little bit more of that to kind of keep things going. I mean, there's the question of like how you're going to handle people like Quinn, but Jamie Batista was a part of this world too, and Amy Garcia recently on Criminal Minds. It's so like good. You could find a way to even bring her back. It's just the possibilities here are pretty endless.
Oh, absolutely, they sure are.
But all right, that is where we are entering the finale for Dexter Resurrection. So let's turn this over to you guys. What do you want to see happen? Like, do you think that Prater's going to die? Do you think he's going to be on Dexter's table? And beyond all of that, what sort of cliffhanger do you want? Give us your thoughts, your predictions. Hit that subscribe button because we have so much more fun Dexter coverage coming, and support us further by joining our Patreon. We got a link in the description for that. It really, really helps us. Thank you so much for those who have, and we'll see you here next time.